Good morning, Venderman here with FuturestraderElite on Thursday, 11/20 with your NQ pre-market prep. Might even touch base on gold a little bit. I want to apologize about yesterday. My system was down, so I didn't get to do pre-market prep. But we're gonna knock it out this morning. So let's pull this chart up. Let's see what we have here. This is on the 1 minute. Been watching this here this morning pre-market. Let's switch this over to the 60 real quick. 60 minute. Okay. Let's zoom out a little bit here. So up here in this area right here, we had talked about a few times where we needed to get back above this yellow line and these highs right here, and then we didn't. It put in this head and shoulder and came down. Now if you see this little cluster right over here to the left, you see what happened here when we tested this cluster the other day. And then we had another good drop. And then if you look at this low right here, that is not much past these, which we had talked about in previous pre-market preps. Something that I was looking at earlier was this is our new low over here. And then we have this low. And then look at this one over here. So I know we're a long ways from this right now. We're at like 125, 110. This S2 pivot down here is at 24,254. Just under 1,000-point move. But we know that could happen in a day. So I just want, and it don't have to happen today or tomorrow, or it might be, you know, the Santa rally's right around the corner. We'll see if they want to take this market to the upside. But this S2 pivot, where it's sitting down here around this yellow line right now, this is a area to keep in mind. If we get some more downside, since we keep putting in lower highs and lower lows, be thinking for maybe a heavy bounce in, say, 190, that's 190, that's 230. The pivot's 254. Anywhere from, it looks like 190 to that pivot, 190 to 250. Would have to watch this area pretty heavy. I would really be staring at that yellow line because that's a previous all-time high. I would expect them to maybe sweep the pivot and come down there and almost tag that line, which is around 240. I'm sorry, 230, something like that, 235. Just something I wanted everybody to kind of see there. If it wanted to come and put another low in. And then we got our high time frame trend line down here. We got several high time frame red trend lines overhead. This is a 1 hour. A 1 hour. I mean, these ones up here could be considered like 4 hour trend lines, maybe even 8 hour. But got a lot of overhead resistance to try to get through, no doubt. Let's move this down to the 15. Maybe it don't look so cluttered with all the color and the lines and the boxes. All right, so on the 15, you know, Nvidia's earnings came out after hours yesterday, and so the market moved up pretty good here. And you see it's putting in this hook right here, which usually ain't a real good sign, but it saved on this yellow line. I played this this morning since I've been up. Nice little bounce there. We'll see what happens when it gets back up here to the R1 pivot. I think we're going to see some rejection there. we really need to, now that we got this trend line up here, we're going to have to break through all this here. I mean, there's a lot going on at the top of the zone box. So say we get past that pivot, be looking at this yellow line, this trend line. You know, this is an A plus setup. We get up through here and tag this trend line, because we'll have the zone box, a trend line, and then there's a previous all-time high right here. Whole lot of rejection going on. So first reaction, I would be thinking, hey, let's try to take this short, and then it would have to get, if we can get through this area right here, you know, 25,200. We just got a lot of resistance overhead that we'd have to break through to get real. I wouldn't really be getting real bullish about anything unless maybe we take out that R2 pivot and get above 370. Maybe we have to get above 370, almost 400. We need to break this line, get above all this, and then break through that next trend line up there. We'd start looking a lot better if we could do that. But we'll have to wait and see till the market opens, of course. I will be putting live updates in the update channel before the market opens with some PES boxes and everything else. I'm not going to draw any on right now. Still real early while I'm recording this. The market is not going to open for like another 3 hours or better. So it could do a lot between what we're looking at here and before the market even opens. If you notice that this looks a little different down here on my chart, it's because I got a new indicator built as an add-on. If anybody wants it, it's not on Gumroad yet, but it's something I built and I'd been testing out. This is the FTE Kill Zone Oscillator. I'm going to be using this instead of the MACD for a while. I've been testing it out. We got our over bought and oversold lines, the solid lines here. These are PES boxes in here is what these are, geared in as precision entry zone boxes inside this indicator. You can see that the crossover dots look different when they cross over inside that box. There's a lot of different settings to play with on here. You can see the dots are standard inside when they're not inside one of the PES boxes. I've been like I said, I've been messing with that one there's on TradingView. I do actually have that for I mean, this one here is on NinjaTrader, but I do have that built for TradingView. Trying to get it over here where you can see it. This is the one on TradingView. It's like I said, it's going to be a separate add-on indicator. All my indicator packs are locked in where they're at. If I update any of those indicators and you've already got those, you'll have lifetime updates on them. But the original packs just come with the support and resistance, the buy-sell indicator, and the MACD. And so if I do anything to those or update those scripts, you'll get those for free for sure. But these other indicators I'm going to be building will be add-ons, just so you know. Now we got, let's go over here and take a look at gold real quick. Try to touch base on that. I know I hadn't touched base on it here recently. So let's, this is on the 15-minute. We got, we had that nice move where it drove up and then of course it bled back off right here. We got some high time frame trend line. Well, this is a 15-minute. This other one up here is a 1 hour, 4 hour. I'm looking at this thinking that I got some imbalance zones overhead. You see we got this little one here, and then we got this bigger red one up here. You know, you got to be careful here. I want to, if I'm going to trade gold, I want to take particular entries. You know, you see we got this wick down here and it sucked back up and come down and hit this S1 pivot. You know, I try to make sure you want to take your entries around certain things like these, this one pivot, the golden pivot up here, maybe in this trend line, and get them as precise as you can, especially if you're going to be trading the mini and not the micros. But just moves awfully slow, a little too slow for me, but I still been keeping an eye on it. We got a high time frame trend line down here. You know, I wouldn't, gold's kind of just been back and forth lately. I've been, like I said, I've been keeping an eye on it, and one minute I'm looking at it and I'm like, it ain't gonna go nowhere, and next time I look at it, it done move 50 points, and I'm like, what's going on? You know, but this here would have been, that this was a clean reaction here in this area when it got up here to this trend line. Which originally, I can't remember, I done moved that trend line. No, it broke through a trend line that I had on. I think that trend line originally was here to here and went down, so I moved that up. But you see, if you, where this hit that, where this got to, and then look to the left of the chart, look at how hard this had trouble getting through here. And if you just hold your crosshair there, and we come across here, it was kind of in the middle of all this consolidation right here before this broke out right here, which would have been, let's take a horizontal line real quick so we can visualize this. We wicked up to there. You know, it struggled over here back and forth, and then got to that line and around, and then you see you got this wick right here that kind of went through that line before it sucked up and went up like that. That's a pretty good size move. I mean, we're looking at about 135 to not quite 100 points, but that's a huge move in gold. But it's just odd that once all this broke down and we got back over here to that area where that took off, is where it rejected from. And then of course you can see right here in this area as we break down, look how hard it drops once we get below that line. You know, it's kind of bouncing, stayed pretty tight, and as soon as you get below that line, hard candles to the downside. These are simple things that you could find on your chart and look at, and if you can read it right, it'll bring clarity to what you're seeing. So I hope that helped out just a little bit. And if you're trading gold, just be safe out there. Looks like we're getting a little bit of downside here. Makes me want to stick an order here on this S1 pivot and see what happens, but I'm not going to. It's too early in the morning. You know, if this is your first time with us, smash that like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Come join the Discord for free. The links will be in the bio or in the comments.